What's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in today's video we're going to be registering for the IMAT 2026 together. As you guys well know, today is the open day, and as you can see here on my screen is officially opened. If you have any questions, just shoot in the comments, but I'm sure a lot of your questions will be answered in this video. So let's go. Alright, so we might just well click on this link here to start our registration. As you guys know, it's important to have an account. So this first option here, it's going to be if you have an Italian citizenship. Okay, it's speed and C, it's only for Italians. Even if you're European, this is not for you. So let's move on with sign in with a username. So if you haven't yet, have made an account on the Universitaly portal, something that I have been stressing that you could have done a long time ago, we're gonna have to register from the beginning. So if you went through these steps here, you can already jump and skip to the next part of the video. For the ones who haven't yet, stick with me and let's fill this in. So let's start with our citizenship. I'm gonna put here Brazil. This is where I'm from. Moving on, my first name, I'm just gonna put Siddhartha. It's not actually my first name, but I have an email with that name as well. Second name, Funes, my email, the email I created for this, so Siddhartha. Moving on, my phone number, I'm gonna have to actually add a phone number here. Some personal data, so country of birth, let's just put Brazil. This is going to be important because at the end you're going to have a codice fiscale just for you. Okay, now date of birth. This is the moment where we go all the way down, but actually for this video it doesn't really matter. Gender, male, and this is your codice fiscale. So this has been generated automatically for you based on the information that you have filled in, so like your surname, your name, date of birth, and stuff like this. So this is unique and you're going to use it for a lot of things, so you don't have to do anything here. It's calculated automatically. Then the type of document, so you're gonna have to put like your passport, okay, the number. Let's check this. Okay, I actually just fill in with some random information here just for the purpose of this video. Moving on, some information about your residency, so where do you live? So I'm just gonna put here Brazil with S, by the way. And once again, some random information here. And now we're going to create our passport. Once you're done creating your passport, you just hit OK. And then you're going to be directed to this web page here where it's asking you to confirm your email. So make sure every single letter of your email is correct. Double check that. Now let's go confirm that email. Okay, so verifying, verification. And we crashed. Okay, what? Okay, I don't really know why this is happening. Let's just refresh here and see what is going on. Okay, it doesn't want to go back. As you guys well know, this is not the perfect moment to register. This is just fresh out of the oven, and so a lot of people was probably using the Universitaly web page, so it crashed. Let's give it a minute and see what happens. Okay, so we're back. Apparently, I believe it went through. So, okay, here we are. Registration is open. Oh my goodness. Jesus Christ. Yeah, don't get frustrated if that happened to you. I'm actually saying this to myself, my God. Okay, so this is a perfect example of what I was talking about in my previous video. Yeah, I keep trying to go back to see if something happens. I think we had like a stroke of luck the first time we tried. It's currently 3:49 here in Italy. What you could try to do is open in a different browser and see if you have better luck there. Sometimes it works. Now that we have, oh yeah, it did. Now that we have our password and our login here. Okay, so let's cross our fingers, and now that we have the password in and you're already logged in. Okay, what does this mean? It's acting a little bit weird, so let's just try to go to our little profile area here, and we have a couple options here. Okay, so what we're interested in is this option here, IMAT International Medical Admission. Go to your situation 2026. Oh, here it is. Okay, this is where we're going to start our registration for the IMAT. So, okay, as you can see here, my registration didn't take place yet. We have a couple informations down here that are regarding the payments and other things like this. Somebody recently asked me if they register but they do not pay like immediately, if their seat would be secured. Unfortunately not. You have to make sure that your payment went through, and you can control that through the Go payment. So this is just a reinforcement of this situation here. So let's start our registration here. Submit a new application. So here the first step, just reinforcing the deadline for the registration, 3 p.m. of now, it is September. Some information here that I actually did not know entirely, but it's talking about the type of application. I believe it is regarding this first option here, saying that you should choose one of the options, and after you do that, you cannot change afterward, which means that if you stick with medicine and Oh my God, what did I do here? Okay, so I think at this point you can still change. But what it's saying that once you finish and you pay or whatever, it will probably lock this option. And if you want to change this later on, you're going to have to cancel your registration and re-register it once again. I do not know what happens with the payment after it gone through, like if they do a refund or if it's considered for your new registration. But apparently it's not automatic like your list of preferences of university if you're a European. But it's quite strange that you cannot change your type of registration like even before 9th of September. Like I'm saying that once it's done, it's done. Probably gonna have to catch up with this later to see if it's exactly like it says. But it seems that they're gonna have a lot of problems with people that already made their payment and they want to change the type of registration. So but okay, we chose our course here, medicine and surgery, and only after you have made a decision on these two, you're going to be able to choose your list of preferences of university. Now, as we were talking in the previous video, like you're going to have all these options here, but if you're not a European, the only option that will actually matter is going to be your first choice. So you're going to have to drag this here and make sure that it really matches your pre-enrollment depending on the university you chose. After that, if you want, just in case, you can put other options of university, even knowing that you're non-European. It will most likely not be considered, but I do know like 1 or 2 cases where the second option was considered for non-Europeans, but I think it was under a very specific situation. But I think if you're here, you know, you won't be penalized for anything. Just put another option that won't harm anyone. And before we move on, I just want to emphasize, I know this is quite obvious, but since we had to choose from the beginning the type of course you want to study, medicine or veterinary, you won't find veterinary here among all the other options if you chose medicine, but you still have dentist. So you have dentist in Siena, and you also have dentist in Rome. So if you're European, I personally recommend you to don't leave this option aside, you know, include on your list of preferences, because if you're eventually accepted on one of these universities, you don't necessarily have to course them. It's not mandatory, you know, you can still like deny but confirm your interest for maintaining your name in the scrolling. But it's always good to have, you know, an option like a plan B. And while building your list of preferences, make sure that you follow some type of strategy based on the cutoff point of the previous year. So if you haven't watched, I've just recorded a video talking about this. I'm going to leave a card here on the YouTube so you can watch it. By doing that, you're going to maximize your chances to get into a medical school. So make sure to check out that video. So, all right, after you're done with this part here of selecting your list of preferences, you're going to have some information here about the new course, the MedTech, talking a little bit about what to expect and all that. And this is actually the answer of some of our questions actually, because it's quite incomplete. It's saying here, warning, before proceeding to the payment, it is necessary to be sure about your first choice of university. So it's basically saying that only proceed with the payment if you're 100% sure of your choices. As you can see here, like there's some information of how to change your first choice. So this message, it is not only regarding this first section here, you know, when you're selecting the type of registration, because you can still add it here, but it's also regarding your first choice of university. Because after the payment went through, if you want to modify your first choice of university, you're probably going to have some problem. So it's saying here, if the payment has not been done yet, click on edit registration to modify the registration. So if you haven't paid yet, it's probably going to be straightforward. You can go here and change whatever you want. But if the payment has been done, click on cancel registration and wait for the confirmation of the cancellation. And then what? And then what? You know, there's no information about this. The line below here doesn't actually add anything to that. All the other choices can be modified without any cancellation up until the deadline. So yeah, it doesn't really give a lot of information about what to do if you had paid and you want to change the type of course or your first option. It's just saying that wait for the confirmation of cancellation. So I don't know if you're going to have to open a ticket with Universitaly, or you're going to receive an email with details of how to proceed. I'm going to catch up with this to see how exactly it's going to work, because this is going to be a nightmare for a lot of people. But if you want to avoid that, make sure that your choices are all aligned with what you want before you pay. Now, moving on to the bottom of our webpage here, we're going to have a section for disability. So if you believe this is for you, you're just going to have to check this box. If not, we're going to move on here for language certificate. So this is optional, as you can read here, and you do not need to show any certificate up in front. Okay, so but if you do have one, you can select it here. Now, this was an important section, because Back then, if your score was exactly like the score of a lot of other people, if you had a language certificate, this would outstand you and put you in an upper position. Nowadays, with the new regulation, it is a lot more important to score well in biology, chemistry, and physics than having a language certificate. So even if you don't panic, because this is actually not important for now. Later on, some university might request, other might not. You're gonna have to check their specific space on the university web page. And one of the last section here of this part of the registration is regarding any type of special requirements, you know, like extra time or special aids. You're gonna have to get in touch with them before the deadline. So sending exactly what is your condition, what you require, and you can use the contact email provided here. So somebody asked me on the comments how to do that. So basically, you're gonna be able to get in touch with them through these emails. After that, we're gonna save our application. And as you can see here, the payment hasn't gone through yet. You have an option here to go to payment, and you don't have a test location. That will come whenever you start your payment. So as you can see here, by pressing confirmation, you will be sent back to the portal to choose a test location and make the payment. We are dragged into this page here. As you can see, we have a very tight time frame. This is due to the amount of students that are registering at the moment, so you can't lose any time. Here, you're gonna have to select the city. You can see that there are some signs beside it. Some of the places are unavailable, like Hong Kong, for example. India is unavailable, but all the other options here are still available. As you can see here, Turkey is one of the new places available to take the exam. So let's say if I would be in Brazil right now, I would choose Brazil, and here you can see exactly where would I take this exam. So the center, the test center. So just for you guys to have an idea here, it is currently 5 o'clock, and we already have like Hong Kong, India, what else? China and Canada without any available seats to take the exam. So somebody from Canada would probably have to go to the US to take this exam. So yeah, if your country is still available here, hurry up to do the registration because every single second counts. I'm just going to confirm here the location. There's no other options. So after that, I can proceed with a payment, and it's currently 130 euros. So I think it's quite the same last year, and I did not do it in time. So I'm going to have to go back here and restart. So just out of curiosity here, I'm going to put Turkey, and we have 3 places here. One of them are not available anymore, but we have other 2 centers available. So after you choose them, you are now able to confirm to the payment section. So make sure to not close this page until your payment is fully done, and you can choose a card. Somebody else can do it for you. You can use your parents' card. Don't necessarily has to be on your name, the details of the card. So that's fine. So okay, I'm gonna wrap up the video right here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't forget that if you're taking the exam here from Italy, your test center is gonna be your first choice of university. So be prepared to have to go there if you don't live in that city in particular. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you have any questions, just drop a comment in the video. I have been receiving so many messages on my Instagram, and I'm trying to keep up with the messages, but for the ones who really want a careful attention, I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna put a join option here on YouTube, so you can become a member of this YouTube channel, and if you decide to go through, I'm gonna be honored, and you're gonna be supporting this project, and we'll also have a lot of good benefits for you as well. So make sure to check it out, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one.